Mohali, Punjab, India, March 19th, 2017. That morning, Ekam Singh Dhillon got a call that no one in the family ever wants to receive. Something wasn't right outside his younger brother's house, in Phase 3B1. When he reached the spot, he saw a black suitcase placed on the back seat of a BMW. Blood was dripping from that suitcase. When police opened the suitcase, they found Ekam Singh Dhillon inside. He was 40 years old, a successful businessman, a husband of 10 years, a father of 2 children. His wife, Seerat Kaur, was still there in the house premises. But as investigators started tracing every lead about what happened inside that house the night before, they realized the most shocking part of this case wasn't what was found in the suitcase. It was who put him in there.
Ekam Singh Dhillon was born and raised in Punjab, into a family with a long tradition of social activism. His father, Jaspal Singh Dhillon, was a well-known human rights activist in Punjab, a man who spent his whole life standing up for the rights of those who had no voice. Ekam grew up watching his father do this, and he understood that the truth needs to be spoken, no matter how difficult it is. At 40, Ekam had built his own career in commercial real estate in Punjab. He bought and sold property, built a wide network of connections in the business world, and was described by everyone who knew him as straightforward, hardworking, and trustworthy. His brother, Ekam Singh Dhillon, was also into construction and business. The 2 brothers were close, and they supported each other both in work and in life. Ekam got married and had 2 children. To his family, his friends, and his colleagues, he was someone you could trust completely. Nobody knew that this trust would be the very thing that took his life. Ekam and Seerat had been married for 10 years by the time the case took place. They had 2 children, an 11-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl. They lived in a spacious rented house in Phase 3B1, Mohali, one of the most sought-after residential areas in the city. Neighbors and acquaintances described Seerat Kaur as a calm, soft-spoken woman. From the outside, their family looked like a typical, settled Punjabi family. The husband was doing well in business. The wife took care of the household. 2 children were growing up in a home with every comfort. But behind that ordinary facade was a marriage that was quietly falling apart in ways that even those closest to them never saw. Financial and marital conflicts had been building up silently for years, and at some point, Seerat made a decision that no wife ever should. While the marriage was falling apart from the inside, Seerat Kaur had started a secret romantic relationship with another man. His name was Nimratdeep Singh. He was an executive engineer with the Punjab government, someone with position and wide connections among senior officials and politicians in Punjab. According to allegations from Ekam's family, Nimratdeep was said to have helped several officials invest money in real estate through his network of connections. The relationship between Seerat and Nimratdeep didn't stop at personal feelings. Do you understand what that means? According to the prosecution's allegations, it was this very relationship that became the motive for a conspiracy that, once revealed, left the whole of Punjab stunned. Ekam Singh Dhillon had bought several commercial properties near Gurgaon and Mullanpur. The total value of these assets was estimated at around 4 to 5 crore rupees. But these properties weren't registered under Ekam's name. They were registered under his mother-in-law's name, Jaswinder Kaur. The sale proceeds sat in her bank account. Ekam did this because he trusted his wife's family completely. I want you to really think about this. A man who put his entire wealth in the hands of his wife's family because he trusted them was being plotted against by those very same people to take it all away. According to the prosecution's allegations, in order to seize Ekam's assets and be free to start a new life with her lover, Seerat conspired with her mother, Jaswinder Kaur, and her brother, Vinay Pratap Singh,
to get rid of Ekam for good. On the night of March 18th, 2017, inside the house at Phase 3, B1, Mohali, Ekam Singh Dhillon was home with his wife. It was an ordinary night for him, just like any other. Nothing hinted at what was about to happen. According to the prosecution's allegations, Seerat Kaur used a 7.65mm American-made pistol to attack Ekam. This was an illegal weapon, unlicensed and unregistered. Ekam never got the chance to know what was happening. After that, Seerat began carrying out the next part of the plan. She needed to dispose of the evidence before daybreak. She needed to prepare everything very carefully. But there was one thing she hadn't accounted for.
What Seerat hadn't accounted for was the neighbor's CCTV camera. It had recorded everything. Early in the morning on March 19th, 2017, footage from that camera showed Seerat Kaur dragging a heavy suitcase from the balcony down the stairs. After that, she wiped the staircase clean, step by step, careful, deliberate. Right after that, Seerat went to the market and bought a new phone using a credit card. Then she went to a nearby salon to get her hair washed. There, she used the salon staff's phone to call her mother and told her to take the children and their belongings and leave the house immediately. The police, Ekam's family, and everyone around them still had no idea what had happened inside that house.
A tuk-tuk driver, Tol Bahadur, had been asked by Seerat to help load the suitcase into the BMW. When he got there and put his hands on the suitcase to lift it, he felt something warm and red sticking to his hands. Blood was leaking out of the suitcase. He immediately left and alerted a police patrol vehicle parked nearby. Ekam's brother, Darshan Singh Dhillon, got the news and rushed to the scene along with their father, Jaspal Singh Dhillon. The moment they saw the black suitcase with blood dripping from it, both men knew something very serious had happened. Police opened the suitcase. Inside was Ekam Singh Dhillon. Police sealed off the entire Phase 3B1 area and began collecting evidence at the scene. The evidence collected included blood-stained soil, blood-stained cloth, samples from the suitcase, an empty cartridge case, a fired bullet, and blood traces from a wooden cupboard inside the house. The official post-mortem report confirmed that Ekam Singh Dhillon died from a gunshot wound. A ballistics report was then carried out to determine the exact direction of fire, the distance, and other technical details related to the incident. The findings of these two reports later became the most important scientific foundation of the entire charge sheet. The official investigation began under the leadership of SSP Kuldeep Singh Chahal. Investigators noticed Seerat's unusual behavior right after the crime. Instead of staying at the scene and cooperating with police, she left to buy a phone and go to a salon. This was the first thing that made police focus their attention on her. When police asked Seerat to undergo a polygraph and narco test to verify her statements, she flatly refused. Police had to seek court permission to carry these out, but Seerat still didn't cooperate. Investigators also focused on Nimradeep Singh. Jaspal Singh Dhillon went to the SSP and repeatedly demanded that Nimradeep's name be added to the case file. Police summoned Nimradeep for questioning at the SSP's office and later moved him to the CIA staff center in Kharar. However, the investigation into Nimradeep faced several obstacles because he was said to have connections with several senior officials and politicians in Punjab. On March 19th, 2017, the very same day, Seerat Kaur was arrested and taken to Matawar police station. SAS Nagar. The FIR was officially registered there. Seerat's mother, Seerat Kaur, was also added to the FIR by police right from the start, based on allegations of being a co-conspirator. During questioning at the police station, Seerat Kaur confessed to police that she had attacked Ekam. Based on her statement, police recovered the 7.65mm pistol from a wardrobe in the house and a box of remaining ammunition hidden inside a container in the kitchen. However, Seerat kept changing her statement in the following rounds of questioning, giving multiple different versions of what happened that night.
The prosecution built the charge sheet around 5 main categories of evidence. The first category was CCTV footage from the neighbor's security camera, showing Seerat dragging the suitcase down the stairs and deliberately wiping the scene clean. The second category was the testimony of tuk-tuk driver Tul Bahadur, who directly saw blood leaking from the suitcase and alerted the police. The third category was physical evidence recovered at the scene, including blood-stained soil and cloth, samples from the suitcase, an empty cartridge case, and a fired bullet. The fourth category was the 7.65mm pistol and the box of ammunition recovered based on Seerat's own statement, proving the presence of an illegal weapon inside the house. The fifth category was Seerat's behavior after the crime, buying a new phone, going to the salon for a hair wash, and calling her mother to tell her to take the children and leave the house right after the incident. All of this pointed to premeditated action.
Seerat Kaur's trial took place at the Additional Sessions Court in SAS Nagar, Mohali, before Judge Hardeep Singh, and lasted nearly 9 years. The defense put forward 2 main arguments. The first argument was that Ekam Singh Dhillon had died by suicide due to emotional distress. The second argument was that, given Seerat's height of just 1.6 meters, she couldn't have attacked her husband, who stood at 1.9 meters, in the manner described by the prosecution. The prosecution countered this entirely with the official medical and ballistics reports that had been prepared during the investigation stage. After reviewing all the evidence, Judge Hardeep Singh completely rejected the suicide theory and ruled that the chain of evidence was sufficient to establish Seerat Kaur's guilt beyond reasonable doubt.
On July 3, 2026, nearly 9 years after the crime took place, Judge Hardeep Singh pronounced the verdict at the Additional Sessions Court, SAS Nagar. Seerat Kaur was convicted on 3 counts: Section 302 IPC, murder, life imprisonment with hard labor, and a fine of 50,000 rupees; Section 201 IPC, destruction of evidence, 3 years of rigorous imprisonment and a fine of 20,000 rupees; Section 25 of the Arms Act, illegal possession of a weapon, 3 years of rigorous imprisonment and a fine of 20,000 rupees. All sentences run concurrently. The total fine amounts to 90,000 rupees. The court also clarified that while this was a serious case of murder, it didn't fall under the rarest of rare category under Indian law, and so life imprisonment was handed down instead of the death penalty. Seerat Kaur is currently serving her sentence in prison.
After the verdict, Ekam's father, Jaspal Singh Dhillon, stood before the press. This was a man who had spent his entire life fighting for justice for those without a voice. And in the end, he had to use everything he'd learned to fight for justice for his own son, for nearly 9 years. His brother, Darshan Singh Dhillon, who had received that fateful call on the morning of March 19, 2017,
and had witnessed firsthand what happened at the scene, couldn't speak to the press without his voice breaking. Ekam's 2 children grew up without a father. The 11-year-old boy from that time is now 20. The 5-year-old girl from that time is now 14. They grew up with a void nobody could ever fill. Ekam Singh Dhillon deserves to be remembered, not for how he died, but for who he was.
Ekam Singh Dhillon's case isn't just a story about a murder. It's a story about greed, betrayal, and the price of misplaced trust. The first lesson is about property and marriage. Ekam registered his assets under his wife's family's name because he trusted them completely. That trust was exploited. In any relationship, protecting your personal assets through clear legal measures isn't a lack of trust. It's the wisdom needed to protect yourself and your family. The second lesson is about the power of CCTV cameras. It was the CCTV footage from the neighbor's house that became the decisive evidence in this case. In today's world, security cameras don't just protect property, they can also bring justice to those who are no longer here. The third lesson is about persistence within the legal system. Ekam's family fought for nearly 9 years to get justice. The justice system isn't perfect, and it can be slow, but what matters is never giving up. The truth always leaves a trace.
Whether it's CCTV footage, bloodstains, or the testimony of a tuk-tuk driver, evidence always exists somewhere, waiting for someone to find it. Remember his name: Ekam Singh Dhillon.